I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Here's how I broke free in 2025. I'll never forget the night that changed everything for me. It was a Thursday evening, 2 weeks before payday. I opened my banking app, and the number staring back at me was less than $20. Rent wasn't due yet, my car still needed gas, and I hadn't even bought groceries for the week. I just sat there, staring at the screen, wondering how I was working so hard, but still broke. That night, I lay awake thinking about my life. Every month followed the same script. Paycheck comes in, bills go out, and before the month ends, I'm counting pennies and swiping my card with hope instead of confidence. I told myself, this can't be what life is supposed to feel like. And maybe you've been there too. Maybe you've had to choose between paying a bill and buying something you really needed. Maybe you've even borrowed just to make it to the next payday. That cycle is exhausting, and I was tired. The next morning, I made a decision. I wasn't going to stay stuck. I didn't have a plan yet, but I knew something had to change. And what I discovered over the next few months not only broke me free from living paycheck to paycheck, it gave me peace of mind I never thought I'd have. Let me walk you through my journey. Step 1. Facing the truth. The first thing I had to do was face the truth about my money. I printed out my bank statements and highlighted every expense. I expected the big bills, rent, electricity, internet, but what shocked me were the little things. Daily snacks, late-night food orders, streaming subscriptions I forgot to cancel. I realized I wasn't just broke because life was expensive. I was broke because I wasn't paying attention. That night, I wrote down one sentence in my journal. If I don't control my money will always control me. That was my wake-up call. Step 2. Building a cushion, but awareness alone wasn't enough. I needed breathing room. I decided to start small, saving just $5 a week. It felt almost silly at first. What difference could $5 make? But week after week, the habit grew. Soon, I had $50, then $200. For the first time, I had an emergency fund. I remember the first time I used that fund. My car tire went flat, and instead of panicking, I calmly paid for the repair. That tiny cushion gave me something priceless: peace of mind. I didn't feel powerless anymore. Step 3. Creating extra income. Still, saving alone wasn't enough. I realized that if I wanted real freedom, I had to earn more than just my salary. So I looked at what I could do with the skills I already had. I loved writing, so I offered to write blog posts for small businesses. Then I helped a friend's shop run their Instagram page. The pay wasn't huge at first, but it added up. That extra income became the fuel for my savings and even small investments. And here's the truth. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be willing to start. Today, there are endless side hustles, from freelancing online to tutoring, selling products, or even managing social media for local businesses. The opportunities are out there if you're willing to look. Step 4. Changing my mindset, but here's the most important shift: my mindset. For years, I believed being broke was normal, that everyone lived this way. But the moment I started believing that I could actually change my financial story, everything else followed. I stopped saying, "I'm broke," and started saying, "I'm building." That shift in words fueled a shift in actions. Slowly, my life transformed. Bills no longer scared me. I stopped dreading payday because I wasn't counting down to survive. I was planning to grow. The same job I once thought wasn't enough became a foundation I could build on, simply because I used my money differently. My turning point, the real turning point, came one evening when I was able to pay all my bills, buy groceries, and still have money left in my account. It wasn't thousands of dollars, but it was more than enough. I closed my laptop, sat back, and smiled. For the first time in years, I felt in control. I wasn't rich yet, but I was free from the cycle that kept me stuck. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. Because I know how painful it is to live paycheck to paycheck. But I also know how powerful it feels to break free. The lesson breaking free doesn't happen overnight. It's not one big leap. It's small, consistent steps. Face the truth about your spending. Save a little, no matter how small. Build extra streams of income. And most of all, change the way you see money. In 2025, the world is changing fast. Prices are rising, jobs are shifting, and money feels harder to hold onto than ever. But here's the good news. Freedom is still possible. Not by waiting for a miracle, but by starting small, staying consistent, and believing that your story can change. So, if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck like I was, let my story be proof that you can change yours. You don't need a huge salary. You don't need a lottery ticket. You just need a plan and the courage to start. Because the truth is this: financial freedom doesn't start with money, it starts with a decision.